Hey everybody, welcome to the Faith and Fandom podcast. It's Hector here, again flying solo because I'm going stir crazy trying to be patient with the healing process and how that's going. So, up early on a Saturday morning because sleeping is kind of painful at this moment. Um, Actually, just wanted to talk about the healing process for a bit, just because it's on my mind, it's on my heart. Um, Being a gamer, um, we get this really jacked up concept of healing and what that process looks like. The game I'm currently playing, not this moment, but in my free time, is Resident Evil 2, the remake. And my daughter Bella, like, who's the brave one, wants to watch me play that every now and again. And the first time she sat down with me to watch me play, I walked out into a dark hallway and a zombie came from behind the door and attacked me, and like, bit down into my neck, and dramatic scenes and blah blah blah. And you see the red line go to danger on the heartbeat, and everything's moving slow, and the character's all wounded. And it's just that thing of, you see a character get totally devastated on the verge of death, and then Belle's like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" And around the corner, and I pick up a green herb, which, if you're familiar with the Resident Evil franchise, that is the method of healing. And basically, I pick up a house plant, use it, and my health is back to normal. Like, the danger line is gone, my scars and wounding is over, and I'm back to running around at full tilt. Bella just sat there and she's like, "Why did a plant magically make you better?" And why why did just, she's like, "Did you eat it? Did you rub it on you? What did you do? How did a plant make you better or make you stronger?" And I was like, "Oh, that's just how you get healed in this game." And that's kind of how things go for the most of video game world, is that healing is pretty much just a required step that doesn't actually take much time or effort. It's just one more cog in the wheel. With Mario, you've got mushrooms. With like Far Cry and games like that, all you have to do is hold a button down and you'll like perform like crazy first aid out of nowhere, and you're automatically better. And I don't just blame it on video games. I'm also, coming from someone who has been living in faith culture forever, and you see these miracles where Jesus just rolls up and makes people better. In fact, starting in June, my church is doing a 4-week series on miracles and the crazy healings that Jesus did, and what that looks like in our world and our culture. So it's one of those things that has been on my mind. But even with like the stuff Jesus did, with my favorite one is the one where Jesus spit in the mud and rubbed it on the dude's eyes, that he could see again. And Jesus spitting in mud and rubbing it on the dude's eyes, to me, is about as logical as a green herb curing instantaneously a zombie bite. But not that it's not real, not that it's not what happened. I believe what scripture said actually happened. But it's just that thing again where healing is almost instantaneous. Healing is, out of nowhere. And I think that's, between being a Christian and between being a gamer, I have this mindset that healing is supposed to be snap and it's over. But healing really isn't like that on a day-to-day physical basis. I am on day 3 of recovery from getting my gallbladder moved laparoscopically, I think is the term. And where they went in and cut a hole in my belly button, ran a camera up my tummy, and cut 3 holes in my tummy up top, and pulled my gallbladder out. And now I'm at home on the mend, which, when I came home, I initially felt like, oh, this is great. Everything's perfect. Nothing's wrong. And then the drugs wore off, and I'm like, ow. And, one of the things they told me is, you're going to have to chill. You're going to have to rest. You're going to have to be patient. And I'm like, this is gross. I don't like how long healing takes. I don't like that it's taking forever. I want that kind of Overwatch healing where, I come out of the hospital and bam, I'm at 100%. When in reality, I feel a lot more like the Gears of War franchise. When Marcus or anybody else is wounded and they're just crawling around, crying out, revive me or heal me or whatever it is, when everything's gray and red and they're crawling around waiting to be healed. For me, whenever I was playing multiplayer and if I'm the last one alive, it's, I can try and avoid getting killed or whatever, but it's that thing of where it's a slow process. And, personally speaking, I would love healing to be really, really quick and over with. Originally, I was scheduled to preach this Sunday, which is tomorrow for me. I was scheduled to preach this Sunday because my doctor and my consult told me that if I have a desk job, I can return to my desk job in 2 days. And I'm like, preaching's kind of a desk job. So my plan was just to sit on stage on a stool, not exert myself and deliver a message. Well, after being home for a day or so, everybody else told me it was already a bad idea, but I finally when I finally realized, okay, this is just me being stubborn. But I wanted to be able to do things instantaneously. Like, super real, I'm salty that I missed seeing Aladdin in theaters opening night. I'm an opening night person for movies I care about. And in fact, I'm the preview night. Usually, if I care about a movie, I'm going to see it that Thursday that it comes out. And Aladdin is my favorite Disney movie outside of a Goofy movie, but a Goofy movie doesn't technically count as a Disney movie because it was made by Disney Toon Studios, which is their TV brand instead of their actual Disney films. So if you're ever wanting to have that debate about where a Goofy movie falls, it doesn't technically fall into the Disney Classics category. I had to do a thing on that for Screen Junkies and Clever, so it makes me sad inside. But anyway, Aladdin's my favorite. And I know all the hype that people had negatively about Genie, but for almost everybody I've talked to that has seen it, they've loved it. So I'm super looking forward to it. But I just kind of don't like how long this healing process is taking. And I'm only 3 days in. They said it could take days or weeks or whatever else, and I'm just looking at my calendar of like, this doesn't fit in my calendar. I need to be healed quicker. And, I'm stubborn and I want things now. And, when you see miracles in the Bible, you see video games and healing and stuff like that, you expect your healing process to be super quick. But I need to understand, and maybe you need to understand, maybe somebody out there needs to understand that healing is a longer process and that goes physically, but I think that goes emotionally as well, and I think that goes spiritually as well. Um, that it's going to take longer than we want to heal, but if healing is going to take place, you want it to be done right, right? Like I haven't even seen my stitches yet. Because I'm just entering day 3. I wasn't allowed to shower or take my band-aids off my stitches, and like, I just want to, first of all, they're super itchy. But I want that to be over with. But here's 2 scriptures I wanted to share. Psalm 41:3 says, "The Lord sustains them on their sick bed and restores them from their bed of illness." We look at these miracles where Jesus is like, bam, instant healing, where they give you the green herb, so to speak, and you're just instantly healed. But even we see here in Psalm 41, the Lord sustains them on their sick bed. Not that he instantly makes everything better, but he keeps you alive. He keeps you nourished. He keeps you in the healing process, even in your sick bed. Now, I'm also taking medicine. I'm also doing those things, but I'm here to say that sometimes your healing doesn't need to be instant, because you need to actually heal, not just get better, not just remove, not just apply a quick fix. You need time to heal. And sometimes that requires a sick bed. Sometimes that requires you to actually be chill. I haven't left my house since Thursday morning at 6 a.m. And it's hard for me to be this still. It's hard for me to rest. It's hard for me to not want to do things. I mean, legitimately speaking, I can't even pick up my backpack right now. And it's hard for me not to do things. But I know the best thing for me right now is just to be in a place of rest. I'm going to tell you this: if you have been physically or emotionally or spiritually wounded, the best thing for you might be to stop trying to run after healing quicker than you need it, but actually take the time to heal and to rest. When I'm playing Resident Evil, I don't like to use my healing properties until I'm literally on the verge of death. So when you get hurt, you go from like green is fine to yellow is caution to red is danger. And when you're in the red zone, when you're in danger, literally anything can kill you. But I like to wait and save my healing stuff until I'm in the red, just in case I don't want to heal too quickly, because I might get wounded again. But I run around and act like I'm at full health, even though I'm on the verge of death. A lot of us are spiritually and emotionally running around in the danger zone, running around on the verge of death, spiritually and emotionally, because we just want to keep moving rather than actually healing, because we feel like taking time to heal is going to be a waste, because we've got things we want to get done. We've got things we want to do. We've got things we want to accomplish. But I'm going to tell you this: as frustrating it is just to sit here and let my body heal, I'm telling you this, I know it's just as frustrating to let your soul heal, to let your emotions heal, but that could be the best thing for you. And that verse says the Lord sustains them on their sick bed and restores them from the bed of their illness. It tells us that there's a bed involved. It tells us that rest is required. It tells us that taking time to heal is a priority. So if you're running around in the emotional and spiritual danger zone because you're afraid to actually be patient and be healed, stop. Just be patient and be healed. Psalm 147:3 says, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." I've got 4 incisions and, 4 bandages and all these things going on in my body right now. And I missed that whole process of the bandages being applied and all that stuff. I missed that whole thing because that happened while I was unconscious. And if it would have been up to me and up to my understanding to bind my wounds, I probably would have done a really, really poor job, because I don't know what I needed physically to be bound up. I don't know how to, if you've seen my little punk rock vest, you can tell I don't know how to sew. And I don't know the proper way to bind up what's broken in me. If you had asked me before this whole ordeal, I couldn't have even told you where my gallbladder was, let alone what was wrong with it or how to fix it. And I trusted a doctor to do this thing. I have a lot of friends that I love and trust in the medical community here. So they always like, well, who's your doctor? Who's doing the surgery? And I'm like, I don't know, a random dude in a lab coat. But I'm at the point where my body needed to be healed, so I just trusted a dude to do the surgery. And I placed my trust in him to actually do it properly and not let me die. I just had to place my faith in that. And I think that's something we have to do is we have to stop trying to quick fix it ourselves and actually allow God to bring us the healing we need. And that goes for physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Psalm 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. I'm telling you this, whatever you're hurting from, whatever you're suffering from, whatever needs to be bound up and healed in you, you can trust God to do it. And again, the healing process might not go as quickly as you want, but you can trust that he'll actually bring you the healing you need. When I passed a gallstone and thought I was going to have a heart attack and all that stuff, when they finished checking me out and they told me your heart's fine, your cholesterol's fine, your blood pressure's fine, your blood sugar's fine, you've just got a gallbladder full of gallstones. That's not an immediate health risk. Like, that's not going to automatically kill me. It just puts me at risk for pancreatitis or something that could eventually kill me. So legitimately, when I got that diagnosis in the hospital, I wanted to just bounce. I didn't want to stay. I didn't even want to get the surgery. I just said, okay, well, I just won't do things that make my gallbladder go bananas. I just wanted to avoid what it would take to actually be healed. But my wife and my doctor and surgeon and family and everybody else was like, nah, fam, you got to deal with this. You got to do what it's going to take to actually be healed. And I wanted to fight it kicking and screaming. I was nervous and anxious about the surgery, all of this stuff. But I went through with it because at the end of the day, as frustrated and stubborn as I am when it comes to healing and being patient, I'd actually like to live. Some of us are walking around with emotional and spiritual wounds because we're not stopping long enough to allow God to bind them up and to heal them. So please understand, this isn't the Resident Evil game world where you can just patch it up with a green herb and move on with your life. And I do truly believe Jesus can heal. I do believe that God can heal in miraculous ways. But some of your healing doesn't require a miracle. Some of your healing requires patience and for you to stop running. So I would encourage you, do what it takes to be healed. Stop trying to do it yourself. And be patient and trust God to actually do what he does and be the great physician in your life. I'm gonna go play video games.